Monday, May 23rd, 2022. So, I was going to find the 12 o'clock news, and all of a sudden on pops this, they call it Brain Works, the Theater of Neuroscience. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So being that President Biden's in Japan, and there's something going on between China and Taiwan that they mentioned, I thought that this was interesting because here they have this like skit with how both of the Not Us speaks about neuroscience. So it's the way that they speak, not the way that I speak. But this is the local common denomination or understate or understanding and the way that they speak on things. What's not stated here is what the man doing the teaching is not going into food pollutants and harmful enzymes and chemicals added to the food and the air in the local New York area that interferes with neurotransmitting, sensory, being able to metabolize things properly, but it's a biologically engineered result that somebody is forcing, for instance, my person to go through. But they have a very different theater going on about somebody with something that they've labeled as dementia or like early stage dementia, which again, it's fugazi science at this point because there's purposely induced biological responses through the food, through the air, through the water that under attack in this area. And some of the results look like this, but it's not within the natural lifespan of a human to be exposed to this level of chemical pollutants that they've introduced to the food supply. I mean, at this money level, where they've blocked access to military service for one to participate, they've blocked access to education, they've blocked access to route of jobs with money mechanics that are sustainable to have a house and a lifestyle, and then to force into the food source and purposely poison or pollute and then make the body malfunction is a real issue. It then goes into same population. Mayor Adams has on it News at Noon something today, all new vocabulary about new people that arrived in New York and how everybody should learn about them. And then it ends on aerospace with NASA talking about the Milky Way and the expansion of space and how humans still can't agree or don't have the same story. And like they're not always pronouncing what's going on in like real physics space outside of like the human common area construction of what we believe it to be.
Proteins. Oh, like there's something she shouldn't be eating.
Sorry, the brain makes proteins. When neurons are active, they create proteins as a byproduct of their moment-to-moment activity. The first
I have not learned that.
Amyloid. And normally our brains are good at clearing up these extra proteins.
Like deadheading?
Exactly. When your grandmother was healthy, her brain was great at getting rid of these toxic proteins. But as you age, the brain loses that ability. These plaques form larger clumps known as...
Well, isn't this convenient? So they're shipping in all this food supply, they're adding these preservatives and chemicals, whatever, causing biological dysfunction, and a dystopian internal environment. And then he even says to her, there's clinical trials. Right, okay, so they purposely biologically degrade what you were born in by having you ingest these products that you can't escape from, and then force you into these human studies and clinical trials to try to get your human function back. I mean, at what level of law does that, who do you go to for that? I mean, like biomedical ethics, they have none.
It's known as beta amyloid plaques.
Like deadheads that prevent further growth.
Yeah. These plaques reduce the ability to learn new things. In fact, everyone has some amount of them in old age, even with.
So why is my capacity reduced while they're becoming super rocket science and like bajillionaires and taking over food routes and all this and technology and cell phones and radio waves and all this other stuff? I'm just curious. Because I know they're purposely polluting the food so the neuroreceptors and transmitters are not at a capacity where they can, like, where one can retain in America, making it a inhospitable environment. I don't know who they're working for. But while in other areas they're eating perfectly healthy, naturally sourced whatever, and they seem to be getting ahead and doing really well in large clusters if you study like large area statistics and somebody's actually going to like come out with the truth.
Without dementia. But in many people, it gets worse. Another group of proteins starts to accumulate, which are quite destructive to neurons.
Okay.
Let me take a step back, okay? If you were to stop tending to this rose bush, it would fill with deadheads. But what else did your grandma say you should be doing?
Weeding.
Exactly. And that's where the second protein called tau comes in. Tau proteins are aggressive, like weeds growing up and around neurons. Weeds that choke the life out of neurons. And it is these tau proteins that form neuronal tangles. And these tangles seem to be the most toxic to brain function.
So this bush is full of beta amyloid deadhead plaques that limit further growth, which makes the bush weaker and
Now, beta, meaning it's a test study, so there's some clinical research that now you either have to go take part in or play along with, like, the mongoloids in this, like, really warped theater where, like, they first poison you and then they come in like superheroes, like, no, we got the cure, just kidding. And you're like, really, I could have cut all that out and not lived this way, and it would have been much better.
easier for these tau weeds to creep in and tangle up the entire bush. Oh, so she was right about pruning and weeding.
But the good news is that at least the bad actors have been identified, and there are several clinical trials out there thinking of different ways of removing beta amyloid and tau proteins, and it's only a matter of time.
So there is hope?
I don't know if it will help your grandma right now, but in the future, yes. There's reason to be optimistic.
I want pancakes!
Speaking of, time to rinse and repeat.
Let me know if you need anything, Dina.
Pancakes!
Should I make her pancakes?
Sometimes it's helpful just to be with her, but you also have class, so maybe not today.
Pancakes!
You're doing great. Remember, focus on the good moments.
Pancakes!
Thanks, Dr. Albert.
I said I want pancakes!
We don't have pancakes. We only have your brand. Please eat. I have to get to school. What's this?
Oh, just an affidavit.
Now, listen to the level of language this woman's using that has dementia. I don't even have the level of vocabulary that this woman has in this scenario. But this seems to be typical when you hear out in like the streets, when the news comes on, this is what I hear. They made up their own language. The doctor made up his own language, and they're functioning in some kind of weird neurological theater together.
Concerning
The future. I need you to file this motion. It's our only hope.
Judge Evans, this paper is Never mind.
No, don't you never mind me. A person, me, is being illegally held against her will. This petition contains all the facts and the evidence that my detention is unlawful and immoral. I would do it myself, but well, that's the problem.
What is?
I'm trapped.
See, they know how to file these papers. I don't. For unlawful and illegal detainment.
And repeat. Who do you want me to give it to?
The powers that be. The powers that be are the only ones with any clout around here. I said the powers that be are the only ones with any clout around here.
I heard you, but what do you want them to do about it?
Enter it into the record.
What for?
So we can find out what's happened to everything. How everything got turned inside out.
It has to do with pruning and weeding.
What? You're a nice girl, but you're really not on top of things. Show some initiative, Linda.
My name isn't Linda. Linda was my mom. I'm your granddaughter, Dina.
Stop being so stubborn, Linda.
Mom died. Linda's gone. All you got is me.
Deadhead is what you are. How can you be dead when you're right in front of me?
I don't think I should leave you on your own today.
Oh, I'm not saying here. I'm going to work.
Today,
It's my Monday routine.
it's Wednesday.
Well, then I'm really late. They're all expecting me in my chambers.
Oh, that's why you're all dressed up.
Yes.
Well, if I were you, I'd take off a couple of layers.
How'd that happen?
Did you get enough sleep last night?
Not so much. But enough of this. They're waiting for me in my chambers.
Judge Evans, you retired 3 years ago.
No, I'm not going to retire until we have some pancakes. I'm hungry.
Well, that's good news.
Why is me being hungry news?
It's hard to get you to eat these days.
I have to watch my figure.
You always look good, Judge Evans.
And you take after me. Look at how your skin glows.
Now, this is what this mayor is doing in New York City today and what he's promoting at some festival somewhere, like years after the fact.
City Mayor Adams in Brooklyn this morning to announce the Festival of New York, a summer-long festival focused on sharing cultural experiences.
So that we can sit down and do something revolutionary, communicate.
Now, here's the thing. In heraldry and heritage and lineage, I don't hear any words about Western, Central, or Eastern Europe. I don't hear anything about North American or Canadian. What I hear is a whole lot of words that are really problematic for a whole nother reason.
Talk to each other. Enjoy the lubricating value of a good meal. Sitting down, learning why we wear hijab, a yarmulke, a kufi, why we wear a turban. All of these secrets that lay under the surface of New York City.
More than 300 organizations are involved in putting on the festival, which will
Laying under the surface in New York City. Right.
feature performances, concerts.
And if that's what was arriving after the towers fell for 9/11, why in the preceding years leading up to it were none of the school children taught what these things were if it was going to be introduced within their life frame? because that's putting undue burden on like people like myself who never even learned where or what these things are. I mean, isn't that what the lower, like elementary school level schooling was all about? Is being introduced to the things that will affect you within your life frame so you're prepared and can be better contributing, like, pieces of society? Because I didn't learn any of this stuff that he's talking about now. That's how I know it's just wrong. Everything's off.
Concerts, films, fairs, and dining experiences.
Trouble on the Jersey Shore coming up.
Now here it says space mystery.
Here. Well, NASA scientists studying new data from the Hubble Space Telescope, and what they are finding has them scratching their heads. They found that our galaxy is expanding much faster than first thought, and other galaxies are moving away from ours faster than before thought. Scientists can't explain it yet, and even say we may be seeing a brand new form of physics at work. All of it underscoring how little we know about the universe and how much more we still need to learn.
Just trying to get away from us as much as possible, as fast as possible.
Could be it.
Still to come this noon, over a dozen people.
That's an interesting comment. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, the solar system, Milky Way universe. Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.